And you're trying to move up, and he would be in position, as we said, to get that lap back. But he's trying to move up on the racetrack as he eases in on the 11 car. Up front, Jimmie Johnson as our leader. He has pulled away to about a 1.1 second margin over the 24 car of Jeff Gordon. Kurt Busch is there, Montoya, Martin Kenseth, and there's the 33 car of Clint Bowyer in 7th spot. Dave.
And Doctor, talking to Clint Bowyer just before the race started today, he told me he thought they could drive from the back, but he figured it would be a lot of work. Listen to his radio just recently.
Should be farther along than this. Maybe it's a damn workout, I'm telling you. Oh.
I was going to ask you if you get tired.
Maybe it'll be a little bit tighter. Working my ass off in here. Had 4 on working hard in there. We appreciate you.
Driving hard at this racetrack. And DJ, can you tell us what it's like to handle a loose race car around Dover all day?
I don't know if I can give it a good enough explanation, but I can tell you it is a workout, just like Clint Bowyer said. This is a tough racetrack physically, and when your car's on the edge, you have a little bit tighter grip on the steering wheel. You're having to be able to catch this thing at any moment. So he's doing a great job, but it will wear you out physically and mentally throughout 400 miles here today.
And it used to be 500 miles before they dropped it down to 400 in the late 90s.
Yeah, or 24 hours, whichever came first.
There is Ryan Newman back behind the 33 car. Ryan Newman back in 8th position. Behind him will be the 44 of A.J. Allmendinger. We mentioned Allmendinger. He was one of the drivers that actually did the tire test here. And it's just amazing how coming here and testing this tire and getting some extra track time can make a difference for a driver.
Especially when you have no testing this day and time. You know, those tire tests are very important.
Well, that's the key thing. I mean, you don't run the tire necessarily that they bring back, but just getting laps on the racetrack with the rules the way they are, testing at any of the tracks we race on, just getting laps on the racetrack is going to be a benefit.
Yeah, especially for a young driver that doesn't have a lot of those laps, just like you said, Andy.
Allmendinger and Marcus Ambrose were the 2 guys who ran the tire test for the Toyota camp, and both of those guys are running in the top 11. Here's a guy that was the Chevy test driver, the 48 car, Jimmie Johnson, as if he needed a little more help here at Dover, Delaware. He is our leader and has now led 3 times for 95 laps. Back to Dover after this message and a word from our ABC station. Three-time reigning champion Jimmie Johnson is on cruise right now here at Dover, Delaware. He has led 3 times for 102 laps. The good news for Jimmie Johnson is he has led the most laps now in the race. The bad news, folks, for you Jimmie Johnson fans, the last 3 times this year he has led the most laps at Michigan in June and August, and in New Hampshire he did not win the race. In fact, the last time he led the most laps and won the race was right here back in May.
I bet he figures they're going to get it right here eventually, though. That'd be the way he would look at it.
And it was actually this car here at Michigan that he led 133 laps in, but remember what happened there. He ran out of gas in the final laps.
It might take that to keep him from going to victory lane today, something like that, because this baby is flying right now. 2.6 second lead he has over Jeff Gordon.
There's his teammate Jeff Gordon, who has yet to lead a lap today. Right now, Jimmie Johnson would be the points leader by 5 points over his teammate Mark Martin, who was the points leader coming into the day. See Jeff Gordon now climbing back up after dropping back 4 positions last week with a disappointing 15th place finish at New Hampshire.
See Casey Kane still down in 12th. It's going to take him a while to overcome that blown engine last week.
Tony Stewart lost 4 spots last week, went from 2nd to 6th, and has now lost 2 more positions as of right now. Of course, this race is not ending now. We've still got plenty of laps to go, 166 to be exact, before they wave the checkered flag.
And talk about Casey Kane. He's going to have to do better than running 12th, especially when you have the top 5 all being chase guys. So you're not going to make up points like that. You have to get it going.
Right now there are 21 cars on the lead lap. The first car lap down would be Dale Earnhardt Jr. So if we were to get a caution flag, he would be able to get back on the lead lap. There's a differential of 2.5 seconds between Jimmie Johnson and Jeff Gordon. And you see there comes the 12th place car of Casey Kane. Now a week ago, Casey Kane was at New Hampshire on a lap 66. They erupted an engine. They broke a crank there, so he finished 38th. And he slid all the way back to 12th, the final spot. Lost 7 positions in the point standings for the chase. Now, folks, it has been done in the past. In the 2006 chase, Jimmie Johnson finished 39th in the first race and didn't have a top 10 finish until race number 5, and still came back and won the championship. But it is still right now an uphill battle for this 9 team. Vince.
Well, and Casey said as much this week, saying that they know they're in a hole, but what do? You just got to come out every week. It's a different week. It's a different race. It's a different challenge. You got to give it your best. And he believes that everybody from top to bottom that comes to the racetrack every weekend does that. They had a really good car through about the first third of this race, but around the halfway point, it became much more difficult to handle, much too loose for his liking, in case he doesn't quite have the car he had earlier in the race, and that's why we're not seeing him in the top 5 like we did earlier.
Right behind him, thank you, Vince, is the 29 and the 07, a couple of teammates, and they're running 13th and 14th, Kevin Harvick and Casey Mears. It was announced this week, by the way, the sponsor going away from the 07 for next year, and a lot of speculation about whether that car will return. I know Richard Childress is wanting to keep a 4-car team and working hard on replacing that sponsorship.
Yeah, he would like to make that happen. He's working hard to do that, and of course, sponsorship difficult to come by, but it is a much better day for Richard Childress Racing today. They have all 4 cars in the top 19. The top 19 is Jeff Burton's in that 19th spot right now, so looks like they getting the competition side of it much better than what they were earlier in the year.
Andy, a couple of the Roush Fenway teammates. These are the 2 guys that are actually in the chase. Biffle and Edwards running in 15th and 16th position.
Yeah, but Biffle's not as good as he was earlier. We saw him in the top 5 early in the race, and he's kind of just slipped back as we go here. And we have got some, like I said, some cloud cover that came over earlier. I don't know if that's changed the track and kind of gone away from them or not, but see over there to your right, Kyle Busch walking away from his car, or actually walking towards his car. They're trying to fix it from that crash when they blew that right front tire.
Had a couple of different crashes. The latest involved 3 impacts with the wall, and they're trying to get it repaired and get him back on the racetrack. Let's update the 18. Jamie.
Well, Kyle Busch complained the entire race that he was lacking grip overall. That's what led to him hitting the wall not once, but 2 to 4 times. Now Kyle has come back out. He talked to Steve Addington. They said there's no suspension damage. Car should be good as he waits a couple more moments to head back out.
He is not in the chase, Jamie, but he was 13th in the point standings coming into this race. He has now lost a spot back to 14th as the 17 car of Matt Kenseth on the racetrack, now running in 6th spot, has moved ahead of him. Jimmie Johnson working some traffic there. McMurray on the bottom of the track, and David Reagan up high.
The Roush teammates, they're kind of blocking the way. Jimmy threads the needle, though.
Yeah, he's so fast, they're not going to hold him up for long because he can really put this car about anywhere that he needs to.
Jamie McMurray had been on and off pit road. He had a problem, I think, with the rear sway bar. He now is showing 4 laps down in 29th. He had been running in the top 12. Talk about the strength of a team and how this Hendrick organization has been so good over the years. Their cars are 1st, 2nd, 5th, and of course Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in 22nd, a lap down.
For some reason, they're not able to keep pace with the other 3 teammates. They've made a lot of changes on this team and tried to get this car better and better. And at times, you think they've made some headway. Last week was a good race for them. Got taken out in a wreck. They're just having a average day today.
Yeah, I think Junior's car is better than a 22nd place car, but because of losing those laps on pit road, now he's not, probably somewhere between 12th and 15th was about as good as what we were seeing, but has made improvements, but not to the caliber of what we see with Jimmie Johnson.
Junior is still in that lucky dog position should we get a caution.
Jeff Gordon now trying to move down below Elliott Sadler. Elliott coming off that good top 10 finish at New Hampshire, but he had to start at the back of the pack as well with engine change. He broke a crank in qualifying.
Still 2.5 seconds behind his teammate Jimmie Johnson. See that sun coming back out now.
So the sun emerges, and now the track will be changing again, but they're all still chasing that 48 car of Jimmie Johnson.